Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. Today we are finally going to be doing one of your longtime requests. This will be Song of Women by The Who featuring Lzzy Hale. Now, we've heard both of these artists before. They are amazing. The Who is known as like this Mongolian rock metal band, and they combine this like idea or image of maybe the Han dynasty singing. So you get some of that folk element in there and this like going to battle element with rock and metal. It's a really fun sound. Lzzy Hale is just a total rock metal goddess. She has so many different sounds available to her. She has really like a ton of extra buzz that she's able to bring into songs, a lot of extra bite. And so I'm curious how these two are going to be woven together. Apparently, The Who had reached out to Lizzy about this song, and it is a song that they had before, that existed before, but they asked Lizzy to write the lyrics for it. So yeah, I feel like this is going to be a brilliant collaboration. Let's get to it. Oh, lovely. So of course this is called Song of Women, and I can tell immediately this is going to be much more of a tender kind of song from The Who. The last one we heard was like made us want to get dressed in your D&D gear or your LARPing gear and like, your chainmail and bring out your swords and go to battle. And this has still a primal element to it, but it feels a lot more tender at the same time. I think that makes sense with this idea of a woman, and this is a really sweet image. Maybe this is an image of his mother and him. I'm not sure, but like immediately it feels like it's still ancient, it's still primal, but it's tender and it feels very rooted at the same time. Lovely. The thing that's really exciting me right now is that I hear sub-harmonics being done. So of course, Mongolian. One of the first things I think of when I hear about Mongolian singing is, well, is there Mongolian throat singing? And the answer is yes. Big, definite yes. There are different kinds of throat singing. Just, you should know this. A lot of times people get confused and they think, oh, well, that can't be throat singing because overtones is throat singing. The kind of throat singing that they're doing here, or that one of the guys is doing, is sometimes called sub-harmonics. And it's actually one of the more researched kinds of extended vocal technique that's out there. And it's super cool. Essentially, the true vocal folds create a pitch and they go waka, 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 right? And they make a pitch. And then on top of that, the ventricular folds, or the false vocal folds, they're like a different kind of flappy tissue that's in your vocal tract. So the vocal folds are down here going waka, 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 waka at a particular speed. And the ventricular folds on top of that add a little waka, waka on top. So when these two go together in this like perfect synchronicity, synchronicity, I think that's the word, when they're synchronized in the right way, where the ventricular folds are going exactly half as slow as the true vocal folds, this creates subharmonics. And it is very difficult to coordinate because we don't have nerves that are down there. They can really feel the rapidity of this vibration and be like, no, you were going 224 hertz. You should be going 220 hertz, which is wacka, 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 220 times per second, right? We don't feel that very well. So we have to rely on sensations to tell us that we've locked into that coordination. And it's pretty difficult and kind of funny to hear somebody try and do this initially. So all that's to say, they're using sub-harmonics here, and it's really, really cool. That's the low, rattly sound that you hear. Let's go back to maybe here. And in addition, it should be noted that they're primarily singing in parallel octaves, which is extra cool because if you remember what I just said about essentially the true vocal folds and then the ventricular folds going half as fast, the true vocal folds of these two guys are actually going to be vibrating at the same speed. And then the guy who uses the ventricular folds, his note just drops because of the activation of the ventricular folds, which causes the pitch overall that we hear to be lower. So really kind of cool when you add that extra layer. Not only is it parallel octaves, but both of their true vocal folds are going at the same speed before that octave drop is achieved by the ventricular folds. Okay. Nerd.
Across the ocean, carry the seed. I'm your lover, I'm your mother, I'm your sister, I'm your daughter. When kings fall to their...
Oh, sorry, gonna stop it, but I really like where it's going. Okay, I love this tone quality that Lizzy has entered with. It feels really warm. It feels almost like hazy in some ways, very rooted as well, has a lot of chest resonance in it. And then on top of that, she adds like just a little bit of nasality, a little bit of nasal resonance and focus. A lot of times people think that nasal resonance is bad. That is not the case. It is bad if that's not the resonance that you want, just plain and simple. And sometimes certain styles call for a lot more nasal resonance. So in this case, she has this super mellow, warm sound in her chest voice that's like so open and just yummy. And then you hear like a teeny bit of nasal resonance that's happening on top of it that provides like another layer within that tone quality. I think it's really, really, really lovely. I also just love watching how she moves her mouth. She has so many great mouth shapes that she makes. I would say she uses her singing hole very, very well. She's really activating all of these different parts. Okay, let's go back. Oh, and this is so sweet. I think this is pictures of them as children with their mothers.
I've started wars, I've given peace. Across the ocean, carry the seed. I'm your lover, I'm your mother, I'm your
Love that girl.
When kings fall to their knees, they sing a woman's song. When birds scream in the trees, they sing a woman's song. The sunrise in the east sings a
Okay, let's talk about what's happening production-wise here, because this is really, really interesting. Sorry to cut you off, Lizzy. So when she was singing that first verse, we had just one voice, I believe, or like just like one take of her that was very much centered. The moment that she started into what I think is the chorus, we got a doubling. So it sounds like you're getting two of her singing there right away. It was a really great way to add a little extra oomph going into the chorus. And then we started to get some different layers. So if you listen, there's like a couple like layers here and here. You can hear different harmonies coming in. I know I heard an octave doubling that was lower at one point as well. Let's go back. Listen.
I've started wars, I've
A little too far back, sorry.
across the
But you hear just the one voice right now.
the seed. I'm your lover, I'm your mother, I'm your sister, I'm your daughter. When kings fall
There's the double.
to their knees, they sing a woman's song.
Nice. I like the guys underneath.
Birds scream in the trees, they sing a woman's song. The sunrise in the east sings a woman's song.
So it sounds like on Love, we might be getting harmonies in there, and you might have heard that lower octave come into. And I'm really liking little interspersed moments where we hear some of that throat singing underneath her as well. It's beautiful, some subtle layering that's happening underneath her.
The sunrise in the east sings a woman's song. Every heart that beats sings a woman's song.
I need to go back a little bit. Very interesting. So I hear yuyo. It sounds like he's playing with a bunch of tongue positions on just one low note. At this point, I'm not really hearing a ton of overtones in the song, but often when you play with different tongue positions like that, that is a different kind of throat singing. That essentially where you create a pitch that is still down there, fundamental pitch created by those true vocal folds, and then you can shape the resonance or how that pitch is enhanced by the vocal tract, and you shape it to enhance harmonics that are above it, that like naturally would come or spring from that pitch. The main way that you do that is by shifting tongue position. And I hear him shifting his tongue position here. I'm like, oh, I wonder if there are some harmonics that are being enhanced in there, but I just don't hear it as much within the other things that are going on. Love the sort of like extra, almost sounds like battle cries sometimes. Maybe it's because I'm thinking about these Mongolian horses and the Han Dynasty. But I hear like some really fun like battle cry-ish sounds from Lizzy in the background too. Really fun combination of the two styles. Oh, lots of lighting in this too.
I am
Woo! Whoa. I feel like this is the moment when the song really came together. And where before I had like I had Lizzy and I had The Who, and they were working together, but right here all of a sudden it just feels like a marriage of really great sounds which become one essence. And I love the build and like the thickness of these harmonies. The words are fantastic too. I'm fire, I'm water, I am empress, I am thunder, I'm flower, I'm wonder, I'm the object of your desire. Wow. Those are really cool lyrics. I just love this is like all of the things that a woman is, and you can tell there's so much respect for their mothers too. It's just this like beautiful reverence and power all wrapped into one. And once we got this like almost like didgeridoo sound that layered in with Lizzy's harmonies there, it really just meshed all of a sudden. I want to go back. This is my favorite moment so far.
Of your desire, I am beauty, I am grace,
Such good distortion. That's awesome. Massive respect to the guy who is making these sub-harmonics right now. Sub-harmonics can be notoriously difficult to control. Again, you don't have like lots of nerves to feel that, and it's this really crazy precise coordination. So it's really very, very cool to hear that control down on the bottom. The harmony choices here make a lot of sense to convey this primal, ancient sort of music. A lot of times, anytime you have parallel octaves, that can often feel more ancient, which is what we've been hearing a lot of times in the lower voices especially. And Lizzy even doubled down an octave in the chorus at one point. But we also had here a lot of parallel fifths. And we think about like monks singing, and sort of that first initial development of harmony back then. We usually saw octaves and then fifths. You might see some thirds in there. What you're not really hearing much of is something like a seventh. We would associate a seventh as something that's more jazzy, maybe like much later in music harmonic evolution. So like more Debussy even is when you start getting a lot more like seconds and colorful notes like that. But this definitely hearing those parallel fifths and that harmonic choice in there felt like distinctly this is something from older times. I really think that was an excellent choice for harmony. It was fun. Okay, I'm gonna go back a little bit, listen for that. Ooh, just one more thing I wanted to say. I really love having all of these different kinds of instruments that are added in to songs like this. It's so much fun and intriguing to me to hear folk instruments, even instruments with different kinds of tunings. It's just got to be personally one of the things that I find really great delight in.
With birds screaming in the trees, they sing a woman's song. The sunrise in the east sings a woman's song. Every heart that beats sings a woman's song.
Really cool production note right here. At one point, they drop out the doubling and the harmonies in Lizzy's voice and bring it just single forward again. It was really cool. I liked the way it like freshened up my ears. Oh, that's right where it happened. Let's go through there. So thicker here. And then there's that single line. Huh. Huh. That was a cool shift in the groove. I was just about to stop it to talk about that looks like this combination of languages. So obviously earlier heard The Who. I think they're singing in Mongolian. I'm not entirely sure though. Let me know in chat or in comments below if they're not singing in Mongolian, please. And then you have Lizzy singing in English. And I wonder if what they're singing might be the original song and then Lizzy's is the English lyrics that she wrote. I'm not quite sure on that. I probably will go back and look for the original song of this. By the way, there are a lot of pauses in my videos. You guys have noticed this. And if you ever just want to experience the song as a whole, I really encourage you to do that. That's why we provide a link in the About section of every video that's like, hey, go listen to the song in its entirety. And honestly, go listen to that, come back and look at more analysis and go back and forth between the two. I really encourage you to do that because there's a different kind of experience and takeaway you can get from listening to the song in its entirety. Okay, let's go back a little bit. There was a shift in the groove here. Yeah. And so what we've got going on is essentially like there we feel a triplet underneath and then it goes to a duplet. So you've got like a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 underneath the first part and then 1, 2, 1, 2 that happens. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh. That was like so smoothly done. I really liked that shift and groove. Really, really cool. Feels like we're about to rock out. I just got very excited about something. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, it could have been a whistling, but I don't think it was. I believe that really high pitch that we hear in there was the other kind of throat singing that I talked about earlier, the one that's like controlled more by shapes of the tongue and different shapes in the vocal tract to enhance various kinds of resonance. I'm pretty sure that's what that was in there. Go back. Right there, yeah. I mean, it could be some sort of pipe or whistle, the way it's mixed in, but it is like so, it is following the pitches that you can do. That's cool. Yeah, and even in the background there, I think we have some of that throat singing, the kind that is you make a pitch down here with your two vocal folds, and then that pitch is enhanced within the vocal tract to basically make elements of the pitch, like that maybe you're an octave or an octave and a half above, essentially. So it'll highlight these other notes that it's so fascinating. They're not actually created here, and you don't have any sort of other mechanism in the vocal tract that is creating the pitch. This is different. This is just enhancing elements of the pitch, and that can sometimes create another pitch that's above that actually sounds louder than the fundamental. It's very rare that it gets that loud. Very, very, very rare. But it's so cool when it happens. It just shows so much mastery and understanding over the different kinds of resonators and the shapes they can make. Okay, I'm gonna go back again. Oh. It is just so much fun to hear all of these sounds together. I love all of the different layers. It's like little sparkling bits that I want to like pick out and examine and discuss for hours and hours. It's very, very impressive. We could spend hours just talking about Lizzy's voice and the variety of tone qualities she can bring to it. We didn't even talk about how she uses her teeth. She does that to get some like more snarl in the sound at times. It's very impressive. I love what she does. And then on top of that, you have all of this extended technique. I mean, that's delightful to my nerd heart. And you also have this beautiful video direction. I love the lighting and these tender touches way of connecting with some of the other band members. It seemed like there was a very sacred, spiritual through line, and that was beautiful video direction. It's very impressive. I want to encourage all of you to go back through this and try to make some of the weird sounds. It's fun, okay? It's fun to make weird noises. If your neighbors complain, just do it during daylight hours, okay? And try to make the weird noises too. Like it's fun. There's coordination that you can develop that you didn't even know was possible. If you do want to learn more about how to sing or play with some of these sounds, definitely check out my courses at thecharismaticvoice.com for information about that. And please continue to make awesome recommendations like this. I loved this. You can do that down in the comments below. That's where we look for your recommendations the most. You can also come and join us here every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Arizona time. That's when we have live premieres. And I love getting to talk with you and our community, getting to know you better. So come and say hello. And you can also find us on Patreon. So I hope to see you somewhere soon.